Top Dog sees the dynamic duo of Chuck and Aaron Norris reunited once again. And Aaron Norris has 11 director credits, and only one of those does not star his brother Chuck. And the last movie they ever did together is called Forest Warrior, and Chuck Norris plays a shape-shifting mountain man who teams up with a group of children to protect an enchanted forest from evil lumberjacks. What? How have I never heard of that? And both Forest Warrior and Top Dog were written by a guy named Ron Swanson. It just gets funnier and funnier. Top Dog follows the grand 80s tradition of zany buddy cop comedies about a police officer reluctantly being partnered with a dog. And they were always kooky and fun for the whole family. But Top Dog takes place in the mid-90s, so it begins at a, white supremacist rally where they then commit a hate crime against the Martin Luther King housing project. And to make matters worse, this movie was released on April 28, 1995, which was just 1 week after the Oklahoma City bombing. This movie is all about terrorists bombing buildings, and they refuse to delay it. I can just see Aaron Norris saying, "America needs Top Dog in order to heal. I'm not moving shit." Although it's not the most egregious example, because the sequel to K-9 is all about Dooley and Jerry Lee trying to stop 9/11, and it was released 2 months after 9/11. Have some sensitivity. We then meet Detective Lou Swanson and his K-9 partner Reno, who are responding to the bombing. And Lou notices 2 suspicious characters at the crime scene, and he follows them to the docks. He sneaks onto the ship and finds it loaded with guns and C4, and the bad guys come in and shoot Lou and Reno and throws them overboard. Now that's pretty dark, but in fairness to Aaron Norris on this one, every dog buddy cop comedy movie starts out really depressing before any shenanigans and hijinks begin happening. But Reno is still alive and manages to swim to shore. We then meet our hero, drunk, disgraced Lieutenant Jake Wilder, who is drinking his way through a suspension in his dumpy house. And Aaron, can you maybe pan up, buddy? I know you storyboarded this shot for the ladies, but come on, man. And I like how Jake's life is just a mess caused by the downward spiral of alcoholism and self-loathing, but he went out one day and bought a croquet set. Jake's captain ends his suspension so he can help solve Lou's murder and tells him that he's going to be partnered with Sergeant Reno.
Lieutenant Wilder, 118 arrests, 116 convictions. Sergeant Reno, 118 arrests, 116 convictions. Wilder, 6 citations for bravery. Reno, 6 citations for bravery.
So this super cop, Jake Wilder, has the exact same record as a sheepdog. It's like when my boss's kid got hired on for the summer, and he tied my record for most sales in a month. And I was so upset, but when I tried to be the bigger man and congratulate him, I said, "Well played, good sir. You are a worthy opponent, and I tip my hat to thee." You know, just being the office goof, like I normally am. He just laughed and said that he wasn't even trying, and then he called me a dork. And he was all like, "Is this job like your whole life? That is so sad." And then like the whole rest of the day, he was at his desk pretending to be me. He put on glasses and was pretending to be on the phone. He was like, "Excuse me, milady, would thou care to procure some of our triple-walled super shipper boxes?" And he was doing that exaggerated typing on the keyboard, and everyone was laughing, and I was like, what the hell, guys? We don't even sell triple-walled super shipper boxes. Learn the product, Trent. Oh, I was so embarrassed for him. He looked like the idiot. And we learned that Reno really is a super cop, and he's been trained to sniff out almost every known drug and explosive there is. Jake takes Reno back to his house, and now in every movie about a dog, the dog always has to trash the house in hilarious ways. But in a nice little twist, Jake's house is so disgusting that the dog doesn't even want to go inside. Lou's grandson Matthew and Officer Boyette stop by Jake's house to check on Reno, and the fact that Wilder isn't embarrassed about the way he lives should be a huge red flag. Jake says that he doesn't want the dog messing up his place, and he says it without a hint of irony either.
So why don't you take this mutt home, and I'll pick him up every morning and bring him home every night.
I'll keep him.
I'm afraid Reno has to stay here, Matthew. Lieutenant Wilder needs the experience.
If my grandpa was just murdered and they gave his dog to some random asshole that didn't even want him and I knew would be mean to him, I'd be so upset. And you know that house has to smell like absolute piss. And a car full of thugs in clown masks opened fire on Jake's house. They learned that the thugs were part of a local white supremacist group, and these Nazi pieces of shit are training for an upcoming massacre. Jake takes Reno to his mother's house.
Benji!
And even the TV repairman is a real dick to Reno. Why does everyone in these movies hate dogs? And in a mishap, Reno gets tangled in a cord and electrocutes the repairman, and then the scene is over. Like, that's it. That is all this scene was for. This movie is just weird little set pieces that try to show how Reno gets in trouble, but they're just so short and disjointed. Hate crimes have skyrocketed in America, and the San Diego chapter of the white supremacists is led by Otto Dietrich, and they're funded by Carl Kohler. And they want to unite all the hate groups across the country for a major terrorist attack. And Kohler wants to join the forces of the KKK, the Aryan Nation, the White Aryan Resistance, the Church of the Creator, and the White Micropenis Coalition of America, which already has a lot of overlap with those groups. Matthew takes Reno to a dog show, and Reno accidentally gets awarded Best in Show.
And finally, first place, Best in Show, goes to... That's not Mittens! Get that darn mutt out of here!
Couple of things. Why was Best in Show at a dog show named Mittens? That's like the quintessential cat name. Who the hell is naming their dog Mittens? And also, that dude put the medal on the wrong dog. That is the human's fault, not the dog's fault for sitting there being a dog. And this is a dog show. Why does the announcer also hate dogs? I mean, get that mutt out of there? What the hell? And then Reno goes on a bad dog rampage at this event, but he is a highly decorated police dog. He should be the best trained dog ever. I would expect this bullshit from a Beethoven or even an Air Bud, but not Reno. And then for no reason other than they were probably really struggling to get a 90-minute runtime, we are treated to a scene where Reno tries on a number of hats and sunglasses. Like they may have added this scene the last minute to distract the audience from the terrorist bombing aspect of the movie. And what the hell was that? Reno can drive a car now? What is this movie? Jake is helping his mother and going over the case with her when she gives him an unsettling clue as to when the Nazis will strike.
If I was one of those nuts that wants to blow up buildings and kill all those people, I'd probably do it tomorrow.
Why tomorrow?
It's Hitler's birthday, April 20th.
If my mom knew Hitler's birthday off the top of her head, I would be very concerned.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. It's in all the history books.
So is Lincoln's birthday, but I bet you wouldn't know that one without looking it up first. So the terrorists are going to set off a bomb on April 20th, and this movie takes place in 1995, which means that today is April 19th, 1995, which just so happens to be the exact date of the Oklahoma City bombing. I guarantee that even if this movie took place in Oklahoma, Aaron Norris would not have delayed the release. So Jake tells the captain about the significance of tomorrow's date, and I'm sure when he was asked how he figured that out, Jake just said, "It's in all the history books. It's well documented. Just knowing that information doesn't mean you're weird or some kind of monster. Even a sweet old lady would know that information for reasons that I'm sure aren't sinister."
Pick up every known racist scumbag in the area. Maybe someone will know something.
You might want to start at my mom's house. So it's 4 in the morning on Hitler's birthday, and like what a weird thing to learn on a buddy cop comedy starring a dog. I can just imagine a 10-year-old kid wanting to watch a funny movie about a dog who's also a police officer, and now the birth date of history's greatest monster is burned into his brain. So Jake and Reno find the location of a warehouse that the Nazis have been meeting at, and they break in to investigate. They find a notebook with the names of several targets, but then the Nazis show up and surround them, and Jake tells Reno to get away with the evidence, and the Nazis then make the biggest mistake of their lives. I mean, besides becoming Nazis. And they attack Jake, and it's clearly a stunt double, which is fine. Like, that's how movies work. But like, the whole point of your Norrises, Van Dams, and Seagals are that they were actors who also know martial arts and could do their own stunts. Like, when Chuck Norris has to use a stunt double, we're basically paying to just watch Chuck Norris's acting. That's not cool. The Nazis finally get the upper hand, and Jake gets knocked out by this dude. And fun fact, this is the exact outfit that all neo-Nazis wear for their little hate meetings. They also wear them under the little white robes. It makes them feel pretty. So 2 Nazis chase after Reno, and one gets comically catapulted into the water. Bet you didn't expect to get all wet. And oh no, what's gonna happen to this guy? Is he gonna drop down into a pile of soiled laundry or something? Oh my god. Okay, so Reno just straight up murdered this dude in horrific fashion. Seriously. Being accordioned to death by a huge crate? That was messed up when I saw it in Lethal Weapon 2. God, Reno, you're cold as ice.
Yeah. Where?
Well, we're not sure. We have Jake's mom in the interrogation room. She's pretending to be innocent, but don't worry. We'll get that Nazi bitch to crack.
Where's Wilder now?
I don't know. He said he had a croquet tournament.
Okay, I'll be there.
Alrighty, smell you later.
Reno frees Jake, and they learn that the target is the Coalition for Racial Unity at Balboa Park, and all units race to stop it. Reno just killed a man. I don't think this is the time for slapstick. They arrive at the Unity rally, and Jake tells everyone to clear out as Reno goes to look for the bomb. And they put the Pope in his limo to get him away, but we discover that the bomb was in the limo the whole time, and they're locked in.
Pull it open!
So the Pope is frantically trying to escape a limo that is rigged to explode again on the birthday of Adolf Hitler. And Otto gets away and Reno and Jake go after him.
Son of a bitch! My mom wouldn't like that.
Or, I guess I don't know. Maybe she would. I've learned some unsettling things about my mother in the last 24 hours. Reno really wants to murder him, but then Matthew just shows up, and Otto admits that he's the one that murdered Lou, and Matthew decides to show him mercy. So the day is saved, and Jake finally admits that Reno is a good cop, and then Reno just decleats the elderly Pope and takes off with his Pope scarf. That's our Reno.